the hidden decisions that control your life. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Your life is being run by decisions you do not remember making. And the painful part is this. You think you are choosing your future, but you are reenacting your past. Hi, I'm Shirley from AXSIOM. One truth understood and applied can change your life. Before we go any further, one reminder. You have your own truth. I'm not here to tell you what to believe or override what is true for you. Everything I give you is a tool. You test it. You keep what proves true for you. You release what does not. Now, let us continue. Until you uncover these decisions, you will repeat the same patterns, no matter how much motivation, therapy, or productivity you try. And if you're lucky enough to receive truly good therapy, you may uncover some of the deeper and more hidden decisions that sit out of you. But even then, remember this. Therapy can help you see a decision, but only you can change it. The power stays with you, always. Invisible conclusions you created long ago, patterns that feel like fate, expectations that quietly steer every choice you make. And the wild part, you can change them. All of them. These invisible decisions have a name, but the name only matters once you see how they operate. Watch the mechanism first. You make a decision. That decision shapes your perception. Your perception shapes your actions. Your actions make the decision look true. That loop is the engine. Once you understand that, the word finally becomes useful. They are called postulates. A postulate is a technical name for a self-created decision that quietly directs your life forward or holds it still. Now that mechanism is clear. You can see why some parts of your life move easily, while others stay frozen no matter how hard you push. Let us make this simple. A postulate is not a wish. It is not a hope. It is not a positive affirmation. A postulate is this: a decision you create that becomes true because you act from it. Think of it as a self-created truth, something you put into place and then live from, often without realizing it. Let me show you how this works in real life. You wake up and think, today is going to be difficult. That is not a mood. That is not an observation. That is a postulate. You created a decision before anything even happened. And then your actions quietly line up to make it true. You move slower. You expect problems, even small frustrations, pull your attention off course. You interpret everything through the lens of that one invisible decision. Nothing in your environment forced that outcome. You created the pattern. Now, watch what happens when the posture changes. You wake up and decide, today is going to be productive. That does not magically fix your entire life, but it does change your actions. You start cycles, you complete them. You handle interruptions faster. You look for solutions instead of confirming failures. The day bends toward the decision you created. That is a postulate in action. Your day did not change. Your decision did. If it's clicked for you, tap like as a small present time decision. It's a tiny way to practice creating a new outcome on purpose. But this goes deeper because some of these decisions do not just shape your day, they shape you. A person can live an entire life from a single invisible decision made years ago. Here is the identity spark. You have one of these running right now, a decision made long ago that you never meant to keep, yet it still shapes your confidence, your choices, and your future. Watch how this works. Someone fails a test at 12. They feel ashamed. They feel confused. They quietly decide, I am not smart. That one postulate becomes a lens, a filter, a limitation. Now they avoid opportunities. They downplay their wins. They choose easier challenges. They sabotage anything that might prove the story wrong, not because it is true, but because they once decided it was. Here is the painful part. A postulate does not need evidence to operate. A postulate creates its own evidence. Tell yourself you're not smart, and you will behave in ways that make the idea look real. Tell yourself you always fail, and you will move like someone waiting for proof of it. Tell yourself people do not like you, and you will act awkwardly enough to make the belief true. This is how powerful a postulate is. It becomes the foundation you build your identity on. But here is the good news. A postulate is self-created, which means it can be self-changed. You can make a new decision based on present truth instead of old pain, and your actions will begin to shift toward it. This is not wishful thinking. This is not denial. This is the exact mechanism behind human change. A new postulate starts a new cycle, a cycle you can actually live from. Now, let us look forward, because these decisions also shape what you believe is possible for your future. A person quietly decides, people like me never get ahead. That is not fate. That is not statistics. That is a postulate. And from that one decision, their future shrinks. They do not apply for the better job. They do not ask for the opportunity. They do not take the risk. They do not walk through the open door. Not because the door was locked, but because their postulate told them it would be. Another person decides, I can always improve my life one decision at a time. Now watch how the future bends around that. They try, they initiate new actions, they take the course, they reach out, they endure setbacks because their postulate predicted improvement, not failure. A postulate is not a prediction of the future. It is the internal command that pulls your actions into alignment. This is why some people rise and others freeze. Their actions obey their hidden decisions, not their stated desires. And those hidden decisions are what quietly shape the future they move toward. Here is the key. A postulate does not need force. It only needs to be created. Once you make a decision, your actions follow it. And once your actions follow it, your environment begins to shift. That is how powerful a postulate is. It is not magic. It is mechanics. There is another layer to this, and it explains why your life can feel like a tug of war inside yourself. You create a decision at 20. I want a bold, successful life. Then years later, after disappointments, you create the opposite. I should not expect too much. I will only get hurt. Now, two decisions run your life. One pulls you forward, one pulls you back. So you start and stop. You hope and hesitate. You reach and retreat. You say you want change, but move like someone guarding against it. This is not confusion. This is not a flaw. This is opposing postulates. Two self-created truths fighting for control. And until you end the old postulate, the new one cannot take full effect. A postulate does not disappear because you ignore it. It ends when you consciously replace it. Some of these decisions were made so long ago, you do not even remember making them, yet you still live by them. A child decides, I want to be perfect or I get punished. That becomes a rule they live by long after the moment has passed. And decades later, the adult is still overworking, still overthinking, still terrified of making a mistake, not because the present demands perfection, but because a past postulate is still running the show. Here is the truth. A postulate created in the past is never valid for the present. It cannot see your life now. It was built for a moment that no longer exists, but you are still living by it. That is why life feels heavy. You are carrying decisions that no longer belong to you. So the real question becomes, how do you change one of these decisions? Changing a postulate is not about forcing yourself to think positive. It is not about denying the past. It is not about pretending everything is fine. A postulate changes the moment you consciously decide on a new truth you will act from. Here is a simple 4-step process. You notice it. Find the old postulate, name it, bring it into the present. You end it. A postulate ends when you consciously say, that decision no longer applies. I'm done feeding this consideration. You create a new one. Choose a present time decision you can actually act from. Not fantasy, not denial, you act from it. A postulate only becomes real when your actions align with it. Your future is not shaped by hope. Your future is shaped by the decisions you create and act from. Your postulate for today: choose one decision you are done living under. Bring it into the open. End it. Then create a new present time decision you will act from today. If this helped you, let me know what you noticed or realized. Your next breakthrough is one decision away. I will see you there.